Most crafting frustration isn't a skill problem, it's a tool problem. You're fighting your materials instead of working with them, and that's completely fixable. Here are 60 specific tools that fix specific frustrations. I'm telling you exactly what problem each one solves because that's the only way this list is useful. Number 1. Precision Glue Press, My Sweet Petunia. If you do paper crafting or card making, the glue bottle has probably been your enemy. Blobs where you wanted a thin line, dried tip, drowning a small die cut. The Precision Glue Press by My Sweet Petunia uses a trigger action dispenser with precision nozzle tips for controlled adhesive with no mess and no cramped fingers. Paper crafters consistently rate it among their top tools of 2026. Number 2. That Purple Thing. That Purple Thing, yes, the actual product name, has a pointed tip on one end and a curved hook on the other. It pushes out sewn corners without poking through, stuffs fiber fill into tight spaces, and turns narrow sewn tubes. The curved hook grips fabric from inside a tube and coaxes it through without tearing. Crafters who find it universally wish they'd discovered it sooner. Number 4. Drawstring and Elastic Threader. Threading a drawstring through a hoodie casing or running elastic through a waistband after it snaps is one of the most maddening craft frustrations there is. Without a proper threader, you're using a safety pin that catches every internal seam. A drawstring threader with a gripping mechanism at one end threads elastic, ribbon, or cord through any casing in under a minute. Number 4. Seam Gauge from Dritz. A seam gauge is a 6-inch metal ruler with a sliding marker that locks at any measurement. Set it to your desired hem allowance once and use it consistently across the entire project without remeasuring each time. The Dritz version costs under $5. Every slightly uneven hem you've ever made was a seam gauge problem rather than a skill problem, and those two things look identical. Number 5. Clover Pom-Pom Makers. Wrapping yarn around cardboard circles produces inconsistent pom-poms that take far longer to make than they should. The Clover Pom-Pom Maker, a hinged device you wrap yarn around, cut through a slot, and tie, produces perfectly round, consistent results quickly in multiple sizes. Crafters who've tested multiple methods consistently identify the Clover version as the most accurate and durable. Number 6. Tombow Mono Vero Eraser. A pin-style eraser with a very thin tip erases a tiny, specific area without disturbing the surrounding work. The Tombow Mono Zero solves the blunt eraser problem, the standard eraser that removes more than intended or smears pencil rather than lifting it. It's refillable and widely used by illustrators and paper crafters. This is the eraser that finally makes erasing feel controlled. Number 7. Clover Chalk Liner Pen. A fine point chalk liner applies a precise, thin line to fabric for seam marking, pattern transfer, and embroidery lines. The chalk disappears completely when dampened, unlike some fabric markers that leave faint, permanent staining. It solves two problems simultaneously: lines too thick to follow precisely, and lines that don't remove cleanly after stitching. Both affect the final result in unfixable ways. Number 8. Heat Erasable Fabric Pens by Pilot. Pilot friction pens have been adopted by quilters and embroiderers because the ink disappears completely when a warm iron is applied. The marking guides your work, the iron removes it at the end. One caveat: friction ink can reappear if fabric gets very cold, so use a water erasable marker for garments stored in cold environments. For quilting and embroidery, these are among the most praised marking tools available. Number 9. Magnetic Wrist Pen Cushion. A magnetic pen cushion worn on the wrist keeps pens within immediate reach at all times. No reaching across a pen board, no pens rolling off the table. The magnetic version holds pens more securely than the traditional stuffed tomato. It sounds trivial. It isn't trivial when you're pinning 40 seams on a quilt project and reaching for a pen is interrupting your flow every 30 seconds. Number 10. Surbonda Cordless Glue Gun. Two most common hot glue gun frustrations: the cord tangling mid-project and leaving the gun on for hours accidentally. The Surbond or cordless version heats via USB charge, goes cordless during use, and automatically shuts off after 15 minutes of inactivity. The safety feature experienced crafters cite as the decisive selling point. It also has a drip guard catching the glue strings standard guns leave everywhere. Number 11, self-healing cutting mat in large format. The standard 12 by 12 inch mat requires constant repositioning when cutting fabric yardage. A large format self-healing mat, 24 by 36 inches or larger, lets you lay an entire fabric panel flat and cut without moving it. The printed measurement grid gives immediate visual confirmation that your cut is straight and square without separate measurement. Olfa and Fiskars both make widely used versions. Number 12, ergonomic rotary cutter by Martelli. A standard cylindrical rotary cutter handle causes wrist fatigue during long cutting sessions. The Martelli ergonomic rotary cutter has a handle shaped to sit in the natural curve of the palm, eliminating the gripping action that strains the wrist. Wrist fatigue is what ends craft sessions early and makes the craft feel like work. Blade size, 45 millimeters for most fabric, 60 millimeters for multiple layers. Number 13, stiletto and craft awl. A sharp-pointed stiletto guides and positions small fabric or paper pieces without your fingers going near scissors or needles. In quilting, it guides fabric through the presser foot safely. In paper crafting, it holds small die cuts in position during adhesive application. The Clover stiletto and embossing tool doubles as a scoring tool for paper, two functions in one tool. Number 14, Fiskars Spring Action Scissors. Spring action scissors open automatically after each cut, reducing hand fatigue by roughly half during extended sessions. The Fiskars Amplify spring action scissors are the most widely reviewed in the craft community. Only the closing action requires muscular effort. Opening happens passively. For crafters with joint stiffness or reduced hand strength, or anyone cutting fabric or paper in volume, this is the most immediate ergonomic improvement available. Number 15, Needle Nose Craft Pliers 3-piece set. For jewelry and wire work, using general pliers distort jump rings rather than opening them precisely. The 3-piece set covers all tasks. Flat nose pliers hold without marking, round nose pliers form loops, chain nose pliers grip and bend. The beadsmith makes trusted versions of all three for under $20. Having the right pliers for each task is the difference between controlled wire work and constant improvisation. Number 16, Bead Design Board Flocked. A flocked bead design board has curved channels at measured intervals for laying out a necklace or bracelet before stringing. The velvet surface keeps beads from rolling. The channels show finished length at a glance. The problem it solves: designing on a flat table, stringing, discovering the arrangement isn't right, unstringing and starting again. A bead board collapses that cycle into one deliberate design session. Number 17, knotting tool for pearl stringing. Stringing pearls with knots between each bead by hand produces inconsistent placement and varying knot sizes. A knotting tool, a forked-tipped handled tool that guides the knot width against the bead before tightening, produces consistent, tight knots efficiently. Both Beadsmith and Clover make functional versions. The practical improvement is professional-looking, consistent spacing, plus significantly less time spent on a technique that stays tedious without the right tool. Number 18, Beeswax Thread Conditioner, Clover with holder. Conditioning thread before hand sewing or embroidering reduces tangling, knotting, and fraying. Thread Heaven was discontinued. The Clover Beeswax with holder, which has a slot to run thread through, is the functional equivalent now widely used. Running thread through the wax once before each new length eliminates the mid-project tangle that forces you to stop, unknot, and restart completely. Number 19, Embroidery Hoop with floor stand. Holding a hoop in one hand while stitching with the other is fine for 20 minutes. After 30, the holding hand is as tired as the stitching hand. A floor stand frees both hands for the work. The Lowery work stand is the professional benchmark. Affordable options exist for occasional users. Most embroiderers who make this switch describe the improvement in session length as one of their most significant studio upgrades. Number 20. Needle Minder. A needle minder is a two-piece magnetic set, one piece under the embroidery fabric, one piece on top, that holds your needle on the fabric surface when you're not actively stitching. The problem it solves: needles dropped on the floor, needles caught in fabric where they shouldn't be, and the constant background awareness of needle location that disrupts creative focus during a session. Number 21. Needle Felting Foam Pad, High Density. For needle felting, you need firm, dense foam that holds up to repeated needle penetration without collapsing. Soft foam gives way under pressure, letting the needle pass through without doing the matting work correctly. The results of the wrong foam: inconsistent felting, more physical force per stab, and significantly more broken needles, the most expensive needle felting frustration. High-density purpose-made felting pads from Clover solve this. Number 22. Polymer clay roller with guide rings. Rolling polymer clay by hand produces clay thicker in the center and thinner at the edges, meaning earrings and tiles bake unevenly. An acrylic roller with stackable guide rings on either side ensures a perfectly consistent slab thickness throughout. Cater's Playground and Sculpey both sell dedicated clay roller sets. Number 23. Pasta machine dedicated to clay only. A pasta machine dedicated to clay conditions stiff polymer clay from storage in a few minutes rather than 15 to 20 minutes of hand warming. A second use is Skinner blends, gradual color transitions created by repeatedly folding and passing two-color clay through the machine. A sophisticated effect essentially impossible to achieve consistently by hand. Label it clearly clay only and never use it for food. Number 24. Clay texture stamps and silicone texture sheets. Pressing a texture stamp into rolled polymer clay transfers detailed surface patterns in seconds: leather grain, woven fabric, geometric embossing that would require significant hand carving otherwise. Deep relief stamps from regular stamp companies work on clay. A brayer rolled over the stamp after initial contact ensures the pattern registers cleanly across the full surface, eliminating pressure inconsistency from hand pressing alone. Number 25. Silicone finger caps and thimbles. Silicone thimbles solve several simultaneous frustrations. For sewers pushing needles through multiple layers, they protect without the clunky feel of metal. For paper handlers, the texture prevents slipping. For embroiderers, they grip the needle shank without marking it. The adhesive foam thimble pads, self-adhesive silicone dots that stick directly to the fingertip, are the minimalist version for people who dislike even a soft cap. Number 26. Cricut Bright Pad. Weeding intricate vinyl, removing the negative space from Cricut or silhouette cuts before transferring, is one of the most eye-straining steps in vinyl crafting. The Cricut Bright Pad makes cut lines immediately visible through backlighting, dramatically reducing guessing about which pieces to remove. It also functions as a standard light box for tracing patterns. Brightness is adjustable. Each wrong removal wastes material that can't be recovered. Number 27. Fine-tip vinyl weeder hook. A dedicated fine-tip weeder hook lifts vinyl pieces cleanly without dragging across adjacent areas. Weeding detailed designs with fingernails or a standard pick tears adjacent vinyl and lifts pieces you want to keep. The hook angle and tip fineness are what matter. The hook gets under a vinyl edge and flips it up cleanly. The Cricut Basic Tool Weeder and Tech Wrap Weeder are both widely reviewed options. Number 28. Transfer tape squeegee card. Applying transfer tape and pressing a vinyl design to a surface works best when burnished with a hard plastic squeegee card rather than fingers. The specific problem? Partial transfers where some letters lift cleanly and others stay stuck to the backing sheet. Consistent squeegee pressure eliminates those failures. The Cricut scraper tool and equivalent plastic cards provide even pressure fingers simply can't replicate consistently. Number 29, heat embossing tool, Ranger or Marvi Uchida. Heat embossing powder requires precise, directed heat quickly applied. A hairdryer disperses the powder with airflow. A hardware heat gun often runs too hot. A dedicated embossing tool, the Ranger and Marvi Uchida Emboss-It are the most widely used, operates at the right temperature with a concentrated airflow. Technique: hold 2 to 3 inches from the surface and move in slow circles. Never hold it stationary. Number 30, embossing ink pen, Versamark. For adding embossing to small detail areas where you want metallic powder without a stamp, a Versamark embossing pen draws directly in slow-drying embossing ink. Draw your line, sprinkle embossing powder, tap off the excess, then heat. The result is metallic hand-lettered text on cardstock that no printer can replicate. It extends the same Versamark ink system as the widely used ink pad into freehand applications. Number 31, die-cutting machine shims and plate combinations. Die-cutting machines, Sizzix Big Shot, Spellbinders Platinum, and similar, require the correct plate and shim combination for clean cuts. The wrong combination results in incomplete cuts that damage the die and waste material. Most machine manuals are unclear about which plate combination works for which dies. A plate reference guide specific to your machine, plus correctly sized shims, eliminate the majority of die cutting frustration. Number 32, anti-static bag for embossing, Ranger. Before stamping and embossing, static electricity on cardstock causes embossing powder to cling where there's no ink, producing speckled backgrounds when heat is applied. The Ranger anti-static bag, rubbed over the surface before stamping, removes static charge so powder only adheres to the ink. 3 seconds of work prevents a problem that's very hard to diagnose if you don't know the cause. Number 33, foam sanding blocks, graduated grits. Rigid sandpaper on a flat block misses contours of curved or irregular surfaces. Foam sanding blocks, sandpaper on flexible foam backing that conforms to surface curves, sand irregular shapes evenly. For resin pendants and polymer clay, the graduated grit approach, starting coarser and working finer through polishing compound, produces a glass-like finish. 3M and Zona both make foam sanding systems for precision craft applications. Number 34, micro mesh abrasive sheets. Micro mesh abrasive sheets in progressive grits from 1500 through 12,000 bring resin and acrylic to optical clarity. The grits are finer than standard sandpaper, the cushioned backing prevents deep scratches, and the progression removes each prior scratch until the surface is fully clear. This is the system professional resin casters use to achieve the glass-like finish that distinguishes high-quality resin jewelry from pieces that look homemade. Number 35, UV resin cure lamp with turntable. A UV lamp with a rotating turntable ensures even UV exposure on all sides of a 3-dimensional resin piece without manual rotation. Uneven exposure produces permanently tacky resin on the underside, regardless of additional cure time. A turntable lamp eliminates this. Set a timer, walk away, return to fully cured pieces. The Sun UV and Gel Nails Professional UV lamps with turntable inserts are widely used in the resin jewelry community. Number 36, graduated silicone resin mixing cups. An off-ratio resin to hardener mix stays permanently tacky. No cure time fixes it. Graduated silicone mixing cups with clearly marked measurement lines make precise volume measurement possible without weighing each component. Silicone allows you to flex and pop cured excess out for indefinite reuse. Cups printed with both milliliter and ounce markings plus clear ratio indicators eliminate the mental arithmetic that leads to ratio errors. Number 37, embroidery thread bobbin winder, prime or clover. Loose embroidery thread not wound to bobbins tangles, develops knots, and makes color selection frustrating. A bobbin winder converts a full skein to a bobbin in about 2 minutes. Bobbins stored in a box sorted by color family transform thread storage from chaos into a system that's sorted by color family. Converting all your loose thread to bobbins is a half-day project that pays dividends every single crafting session afterwards. Number 38, Compartmentalized needle organizer. Keeping embroidery, hand sewing, tapestry, and beading needles mixed together means threading the wrong needle for your thread weight and discovering it mid-project. A needle organizer with felt pages in different colors, one needle type per page, makes the correct needle immediately identifiable. A proper storage system also dramatically reduces how often needles are left loose, which in turn reduces the specific stress of losing a needle inside an unfinished project. Number 39, small wonder clips for quilt binding. Here, I'm specifically calling out the small size for quilt binding, the application they were originally designed for. Multiple layers need holding precisely without pins distorting the batting. Small wonder clips hold the binding flat, let fabric feed smoothly without humps at pin locations, and release without holes. This single application saves more binding frustration than almost any other quilting upgrade. Number 40, free motion quilting gloves, machingers, or quick clip. Free motion quilting requires both hands to grip and move the quilt smoothly in all directions. Without grip, the quilt slides and stitching becomes irregular. Free motion quilting gloves, open-fingered with silicone grip dots on the palm and finger surfaces, provide traction that makes controlling quilt movement effortless. Machingers and quick clip are the two most widely used versions. Sewers who switch describe the improvement as dramatic and immediate. Number 41. Fusible web, Pellon Wonder Under. Fusible web is a heat-activated adhesive sheet that bonds two fabric layers permanently when pressed with an iron. It eliminates hand stitching for applique, secures hems without sewing, and bonds decorative elements cleanly. In narrow tape widths is the standard no-sew hemming tool. The frustration it replaces: applique pieces that shift while you try to stitch them down, and uneven hand-stitched hems on slippery fabrics. Non-stick applique pressing sheet. Direct iron contact with fusible web adhesive ruins the iron sole plate and transfers sticky mess to subsequent projects. A non-stick Teflon pressing sheet placed between the iron and any adhesive work prevents this entirely. Unlike parchment paper, it's reusable, stays flat, and is transparent so you can see your work while pressing. One ruined iron sole plate is enough to make this a permanent part of any maker's setup. Sleeve pressing roll. A pressing roll, a firmly stuffed cylindrical cushion, presses curved seams and shaped necklines without flattening the garment's three-dimensional shape. A flat ironing board distorts fabric curves. The pressing roll holds the curve while you press across it. Different from a sleeve board presses tubular sleeves without creasing the back. A pressing roll handles curved seams inside a garment that has no straight pressing surface. Tailor's clapper. A smooth hardwood block pressed firmly over a just pressed seam and held for a few seconds traps steam inside the fabric fibers, setting the press far beyond what the iron alone achieves. This is how tailors get the crisp, flat seams that home-sewn garments typically lack. The clapper does nothing without steam. It's trapped steam plus physical pressure after the iron moves that produces the result. Marking chalk wheel clover. A chalk wheel rolls along a ruler or template edge and deposits a fine chalk line far faster than hand marking each seam line. For quilters marking free motion patterns across an entire quilt top, the chalk wheel covers distance many times faster than a pen while staying completely removable by brushing. The clover chalk wheel is the most widely used version. Refill cartridges come in multiple colors for light and dark fabrics. Seam roller. A seam roller pressed and rolled along a just open seam allowance sets it flat without stopping to visit the iron. For quilters and garment sewers working through many seams, repeated iron trips interrupt flow significantly. The seam roller isn't a replacement for final steam pressing. It doesn't produce permanent crispness, but it maintains seam position while you continue sewing, so the final pressing produces better results. Thread net for serger comb thread. Large cones of thread on a serger can unravel unevenly, creating tension problems that look exactly like a machine calibration issue. A thread net, a fine mesh sleeve that slides over the cone, costs $2 to $4 and controls the unwinding rate. Inconsistent tension that appears after switching to cone thread and disappears when switching back to regular spools is always a thread management problem, not a machine problem. Rotary hole punch pliers. Making consistent holes in leather, thick canvas, and cork requires enough leverage to punch cleanly without tearing. Rotary hole punch pliers with a rotating wheel of multiple punch sizes let you select the exact diameter and punch in one motion. The rotating wheel means you don't need separate tools for each size. For leather workers, clean punch holes are the foundation of clean saddle stitching. Torn holes produce results that can't be corrected. Leather stitch groover. Running a stitch groover along a leather seam edge cuts a shallow channel that stitching sits inside, below the surface, protecting it from wear and giving the piece a professional appearance. Without a groover, stitching sits proud on the leather where it's exposed to abrasion and appears floating rather than integral. An adjustable stitch groover costs less than $10 and is the single most impactful tool for improving leatherwork finish quality immediately. Kneadable eraser, Faber-Castell. A kneadable eraser lifts charcoal, pastels, and graphite with gentle pressing rather than the friction-based dragging a standard eraser uses. Dragging smears charcoal and tears soft pastel paper. A kneadable eraser pressed lightly and lifted pulls the mark away without friction. Shape it to a fine point for detail lifting or a flat surface for larger areas. This tool makes working in charcoal feel controllable rather than irreversible. Offset palette knife. A palette knife with an offset blade lets you mix resin, paint, or clay without your knuckles dragging through the material. An inline knife requires your hand at the same level as the mixing surface. The offset blade raises your hand above it. For resin work, this means thorough scraping from the bottom and edges of a mixing cup without contaminating the mixture, a subtle but important quality control detail. Wide flat brush for mica powder. Applying mica powder with your finger produces variable coverage because skin oils affect how mica bonds to the surface. A wide flat synthetic brush applies mica evenly with no oil interference and allows precision application, a gradient along a pendant, just the raised surface of a clay texture stamp. Keep separate brushes for different mica colors. Contamination between colors muddies the metallic effect and is almost impossible to reverse. Butane torch for resin bubble removal. A small butane culinary torch pops surface bubbles in freshly poured resin. Hold the flame 2 to 4 inches from the surface and move it quickly in sweeping passes, never stationary, because holding heat in one spot scorches and yellows the resin. A hairdryer disperses the resin with airflow. A hardware heat gun runs too hot. The butane torch is the precise, controlled tool specifically right for this job. Curved tip precision tweezers. Curved tip precision tweezers allow you to pick up and place tiny resin inclusions, dried flowers, and micro embellishments with accuracy fingers can't provide. The curved tip means your hand is above and to the side of the placement point rather than directly over it, giving you clear line of sight. Have both curved and straight versions. They cover different placement geometries. The DeMott style in stainless steel is the professional standard. Porcelain dip dishes as mixing palette. Mixing small quantities of resin pigment or paint in improvised containers, bottle caps, yogurt lids, produce messy, unreliable results. Small stackable porcelain dip dishes provide a clean, level mixing surface, are heat-resistant, easy to clean, and show true pigment color accurately in white. Available at Asian grocery stores and craft supply companies at very low cost, reusable, stackable, and consistently more reliable than any improvised alternative. Rotating craft storage tower with transparent drawers. Organization systems that require you to search through opaque drawers are functionally the same as disorganization. A rotating storage tower with transparent drawer fronts lets you spin to access all sides and see contents at a glance without pulling anything out. Recollections and Iris make widely used craft studio versions. The transparent front is non-negotiable. Tools in opaque drawers get forgotten. Tools you can see stay in active use. Overdoor clear pocket organizer. Vertical storage in a craft space is almost always underutilized while horizontal surfaces are overcrowded. A clear pocket overdoor organizer puts tools at eye level in visible pockets without using any desk or shelf space. Scissors, rulers, markers, stamps, and tape are natural fits. One overdoor organizer on a craft room door accommodates more frequently used tools than a full drawer unit, and because everything is visible, nothing gets buried and forgotten. Crafting under warm incandescent or cool fluorescent light creates color perception errors. Paint mixed under warm light looks different in daylight. A desk lamp adjustable between warm 2700K, daylight 5500 to 6500K, and neutral 4000K lets you check color accuracy before committing. Look for a CRI rating of 90 or above. Color rendering index matters as much as brightness for accurate color work in any detailed craft discipline. Standing at a craft table on a hard floor for extended sessions produces foot, knee, and lower back fatigue that ends sessions earlier than they need to end. An anti-fatigue mat reduces physical stress through cushioned support that keeps blood circulating in the legs. Session length directly relates to output. Anything that extends comfortable working time without pain directly increases what you're able to make. Topo by Ergo Driven and Sky Mats are both widely reviewed for studio use. Fine detail work, threading a size 12 beading needle, weeding intricate vinyl, placing tiny resin inclusions is fundamentally more frustrating in inadequate light with the naked eye. A daylight magnifying lamp combines a high CRI daylight bulb with a magnifying glass lens in a single adjustable arm unit. The Daylight Company's craft magnifying lamps are the professional standard, with glass lenses in 3 to 5 diopter strengths. This lamp eliminates squinting, leaning in, and the eye fatigue that turns a long session into an ordeal.